Welcome to the Rustic Garden Homestead. Today's video is all about setting up your first greenhouse. Going to give you some tips. Going to do a before and after because I'm going to be adding some shelves in there. Also setting up a nursery area around here for potting up divisions, growing flowers, vegetables, all that. So first thing is I have this greenhouse built on a nice stable base. I had my first fire pit was right here. Good drainage, nice and secure. The greenhouse is mounted into the earth. There's some wood in there, so it's secure, just in case you're in an area where wind would come in and possibly blow it over. This greenhouse isn't going to go anywhere. The panels here are PVC of some sort. They have a UV protection, so the plants growing inside will certainly have some tolerance to the UV rays of the sun. But one tip I recommend is when your plants germinate in the greenhouse, take them outside when they're early, when they look something like this. They're just breaking the surface, and keep them in the sun for a couple of days if the temperatures are right. This will totally harden them off. They'll be used to the UV rays of the sun. Put them back in the greenhouse. This way when you go to take them out to the main garden, there's no issues with the sun damaging the leaves. That process is called acclimation. So you have to know what kind of UV coating is on the plastic or glass of your greenhouse. Coming inside, let's give the camera a second to adjust. I'm using the greenhouse primarily to grow the plants. You see all the different flats that are here. I'm not potting up in here. That's on the outside. I'll show you that. This is a smaller greenhouse. I'll put the dimensions in the video description. And what I'm going to be doing today is adding shelves. I'm going to be putting some shelves across the top there, maybe some over here. And again, southern sun's over there, western sun's this way. Plenty of light comes in. So this is, perfect placement for the greenhouse. I want to maximize the number of flats that I can put out here. This is the greenhouse that you can get at Costco, by the way. Bought it, built it last year. The shelving on this side all came with the kit. And let me just show you what I have growing. So your perennial flowers, your perennial herbs, here in Maryland, I put these in October. This is purple coneflower, wonderful plant, perennial for bees and pollinators. Sage. All these plants can take a freeze, they can take a frost, and they did really well out here. This is an unheated greenhouse. I did have some heat going for February. It could have helped some. I ran it only for about 2 weeks when the temperatures would get down to 32 degrees. So I just wanted to keep it a little bit above freezing. But I can tell you, in January, December, the cold would come, these froze through, the perennial herbs survive. So you can put out your perennial flowers, your herbs, you can seed them back, in September, October. They're going to be okay when those frost and freezing temperatures come. So let's just start back here. This is oregano. And they all didn't survive, but that is plenty. This was just sitting out here. So I have tons of oregano, mint, chives, more chives. This is lemon balm, more oregano, and the oregano here doesn't look as good. The issue with this is being the southern sun coming in, the western sun, this flat dried out more often. So you do have to keep up with watering. Even when it's colder out and you have freezing temperatures, the plants can dry out quickly. So sometimes this flat actually was too dry, the plant suffered, and this is what you're left with. Up here I have lettuces. The lettuce, a couple tricks you can do is I started this indoors in my grow room. As soon as it broke the surface, grew for about 5 days, 7 days, I brought it out here. And again, it's getting the sun, it's getting used to the UV rays. This was already outside for a little bit so that I know that this is toughened up to the sun. I've got some dill growing in there. Spinning back around here, this is bee balm, sorrel, that is chamomile. This is a flat of plants that I grew inside. These have been out here for about 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a video later on planting up my green stalk vertical tower, and these are a lot of the plants that will be going in there. These are globe artichokes, by the way. Back in here there's some lettuces, and they're actually, no, this is not lettuce. What is this? Okay, I can't flip it around, but I see that it's starting to just germinate. So this is going to go outside, get some full sun too. And again, when they germinate, oh, this is chamomile. I can tell by the number of plants germinating there. So this is going to go outside so the direct sun can hit it, toughen the plants up, and they'll be great. We have thyme in here. More plants. These are just sitting on stools from that I grew indoors. I think that's Sweet William. All kinds of different things. These are plants I started way back early, maybe late December, early January for videos. The catmint, peppermint, and let me just step back. The shelf here I added. The shelf up here I added. And you can see there's some space because I took some plants outside. But I really want to maximize how many flats that I can get out here. And I'll be doing a combination, you know, of early planting in September, October, leaving stuff in here. And then I'll be starting stuff in January and February in my house. And then I'll be bringing it out here. And again, this is not heated. And the plants that will come out here first will be plants that can tolerate a frost. All right, so let me go to Home Depot. I'm going to go buy the supplies and change this space up a little bit. The shelves were set up. I cleaned up the greenhouse. I'll show you that in a second. The other thing I really recommend is figuring out how to get a hose line or water over to your greenhouse and your nursery area. And I recommend a wand that is just kind of a gentle sprinkle. It took me a while to find it, but that's gentle enough that it doesn't really disturb the plants when I'm watering them in. Once you get a lot of plants growing and you have a lot of starts going, watering by hand can take a long time, and you certainly want to free yourself up so that you can do other things and not kind of become a slave to having to water your space. So coming inside, changed it up a little bit, opened up this space, and those two buckets could potentially hold a flat, but it's really for the shelves that I put in. I'll talk about that in a second. So I moved the smaller white shelf that was right there, got some brackets, put them up here. There are 29 flats in here right now. I would recommend not screwing this in so that I can take the shelf off when perhaps I want more sun or I'm growing something differently. Right now the sun is right above me. It's going to track this way and more light's going to come pouring in through here. But I could take that shelf and just put it across these 5-gallon buckets, put more plants along there. Again, there's 28, maybe 29 flats in here now. This is a 6-foot shelf that I replaced a 5-foot shelf with, put it right there. Added the shelf up there, that's 5 feet. Couple of things if you want to save some money. This 6-foot piece I think was $22. I made this shelf because when I got there the brackets were so expensive. They were like $7 or $8 and I was like, I have to buy 5 brackets. It's going to be a lot of money. So I just built this shelf out of pressure treated wood. These are 4-inch wide and these were I think $4 each. So that comes out to $4, $8, $12 rather than spending $21 for a solid piece of pine. And this is not attached either so that I can remove this shelf, put it where I need it. But I think things turned out pretty good. This is plenty of space. I think I maximized this greenhouse for growing, you know, my seed starts and everything I want to do this year. All right, let's go over to the nursery, see what's going on over there. One of the tips I wanted to include was about watering. You're going to have water everywhere. Greenhouse is set up for that. You want to have something lower because maybe you need to take the plants that are higher, set them down here, water them, etc. But I just wanted to stress, you want solid pieces of wood or pressure treated wood or something that's not particle board, not shavings, not paper, not cardboard, because if it gets wet, it's going to swell, it's going to come apart. So you definitely just want solid pieces of wood. Whatever you get is going to work. This way when it gets wet, it may warp a little bit, it may twist a little bit, but you just don't want anything that's like particle board, panel boards that look cheaper and you think you can cut them into nice pieces, but once they get wet, they're really going to get messed up. So solid wood will make all the difference. I went and purchased a couple of tables that are plastic and metal. You don't want wood tables sitting out here. These are going to last a long time. You know, any kind of table that you find that's made out of aluminum. So right along this space is where I put the majority of the tables. Morning sun comes in through here. I overwintered. Anything that's in a large container was a perennial raspberry, blackberry, flower that I just potted up into these containers back in September and let them sit here. And they're all starting to bloom and come back. I think those are goji berries right there. So morning sun comes right here, and then the sun shows up here. As it begins to go south and drop down, there'll be shade here, but you can see in different places there's shade. This is perfect for me to acclimate my indoor plants. I can pick the table that's most appropriate for them. They're going to get more shade when they first come out, and then they're going to move to more sun as the days go by, and I'm slowly going to get them used to the UV rays of the sun. I want to stress that again, because you put so much work into growing your indoor seed starts, a lot of people then end up killing them because they're just not used to the sun. Sounds sort of counterintuitive that, you'd think they would love the sun. They will, but first they have to get, used to the UV rays. Mulch down under here, and it's just a really nice space for me to do all my potting. I have a wheelbarrow, holes are in that so it drains out well. This is kind of my potting mix that I just make as materials come available. Seed starting mix is in the trash can. Got to put a hole in there, it got filled with water, so that'll drain better, and then I just stick a lid on it, and that's more of my seed starting mix. Strawberry plants, these all were just pressed on here back in September, October. They're all starting to root out. They're looking really good. Everything's been watered with a half-strength water-soluble fertilizer. Use whatever you want outdoors. Indoors, I like using the chemical types because I don't like the smells. But use what you need. Keep up on the watering, keep up on the feeding. The plants are going to do really well. These are, last time I called them holly seafoam. These are sea holly back there. The fragrance smells like chicken manure, seriously. However, the flowers attract so many pollinators, it's definitely worth having in your garden. And then I'm collecting different containers, and I just moved this. This was something I was using, and well, I had, but I wasn't really using. So I'm going to put all my pots and stuff in there for potting up and growing different things. So this is what the nursery looks like. It's not that big of a footprint. I have I think a gooseberry plant growing in front of these tables, so that will screen this space, so when we're sitting over there at the gazebo, people don't have to look at it. I love looking at it. I mean, I think it's beautiful, but some people don't like it, namely my wife. Basic nursery area. I can do my potting up. I can take the stools that are in there out here, sit down, do what I need to do, and it's going to give me a lot of kind of freedom to really propagate, divide, grow, and have everything in there. And if you notice, last year I started painting, got distracted with other things. So this year I'm going to finish painting this white, 2 coats everywhere, but the outside will be white, the inside will be a mix of shelves, but I'm pretty happy with it. Let's take one more look inside. And one more tip I just wanted to cut in. All these containers, some of them I buy on sale. I'm always looking for stuff on sale. But ask your neighbors, friends, family, anybody that's going to be kind of doing some sort of landscaping, and just ask them to keep the containers for you. You can also go to nurseries. Sometimes they don't reuse things. You can go to Home Depot, different places. Ask for the discarded containers when plants die or whatever. But you can really get a lot of this for a low price or even free if you just kind of start planning now. Ask around and ask people to save stuff for you. They love not putting it in the trash and repurposing it by giving it to you. Please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 750,000 subscribers, so every person counts. I really appreciate that. Perfect size greenhouse, really, for a small footprint. Plenty of plants in here. Again, maximize the space with shelves, can move them around, grow what I need to grow. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. And again, please subscribe. I'll teach you how to grow food, have some fun, and I'll show you how to plant up my entire garden. Thanks so much for watching.